What is up, guys? We're back with another hot tag video. So continuing along here in this top five, we're going to branch out. So if you know me well, you know who my favorite WWE. If we're talking collectively with all brands, who my favorite talent is today. But I tried to separate this. So WWE list was specifically Raw and SmackDown because I wanted to go cover NXT alone and by themselves. This is a really tough list to come up with because if you watch now, we have some really talented people now here in NXT in the States, NXT UK, people that have come through if you've been an old school NXT guys. So you've got the Shield, the Wyatt family. You really can kind of reach back and grab some others. But I wanted to go collectively with my five favorite wrestlers that have stepped path in the Performance Center. So, and kind of going with the other ones, there were some honorable mentions that were really, really tough. I came up with a list of 9. Um, God, I hate looking at this list because this list is, I feel like this list is awful. Um, I had to leave off Aleister Black. That was a really tough one for me to leave off. Believe it or not, I left off Adam Cole, and I really enjoy Cole's work, so that was tough. I'm a big fan. I know we kind of talk about, Johnny Wrestling, blah, blah, blah. I'm a big fan of Mr. Cole. I'm a big fan of Mr. Tommaso, but I just couldn't add them to my list. I know it sounds crazy, but I just could not add them there. Um, so honorable mention, I had 3, and it was very, very tough. They almost beat out my fifth, all of them. I really had to narrow it down, and Mason and I were sitting down, and I kind of talked it out. Bianca Belair, big fan of her work. She's graduated to Raw now. I think she'll do great there. Never won the championship, but that's okay. Really enjoyed her work. Asuka, undefeated, probably the only undefeated wrestler, someone that's had an extremely long streak that I was totally comfortable with it not ending. Because Goldberg had his streak, and there came a point where it's like, okay, when is he gonna lose? Asuka, it was there, but I felt like if she would have kept winning, I didn't have a problem with it. I really enjoyed her work in the ring. Promos, I know she doesn't speak English or very well. I can live with that. Her work in the ring was great. And Sami Zayn, that was the other. Um, Dude's just unreal. Like I feel like he's really underappreciated and undervalued. I think that's 3 though, because Black I left off, Cole and Tommaso I left off. Zayn, Belair, Asuka, and O'Reilly. Huge, 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 huge fan of him. Love him coming out playing the guitar. I've been a fan of his before coming to NXT, so seeing him in the Undisputed Era was pretty awesome. Enjoyed all of his matches. I love him and Fish as tag team or whoever he gets paired with. Doesn't matter to me. It works. So for that, we now go to the top 5, even though there's all this craziness going on around me. And in we go. Number 5, Velveteen Dream. So when I talk about what I like in a wrestler, good work in the ring, face or heel, promos, all covered. I met him at NXT, not NXT, WrestleMania Access a couple years ago, well, last year, I'd say a couple years ago because it's technically 2 WrestleManias ago, but it was 2019. Um, Super cool guy, good work in the ring. I love his character. It's something unique because I remember when it started, I'm like, this is like Goldust, like a modernized Goldust, but he puts his own spin on it and he makes it work. Like I really have loved what he's been able to do with his character. Whether he's a heel or a face, I feel like he's able to play either really well. We'll see what happens going forward in the future for a lot of reasons, but to this point, I've enjoyed his work greatly. So he cracks the list at number 5. It was a really tough one because I can tell you O'Reilly and Asuka, really close, really, really close to overtaking them for that fifth spot. Number 4, the only female that I have in my top 5, Sasha Banks, the boss. Could be more impactful on the main roster. She still is, 3-time champ, even though she dropped them 2 quickly to Charlotte and 1 quickly to Bliss. Never had a successful title defense. But her work in NXT really, really good. 4 horsewoman. Her matches with Bayley, really, really good work. The Iron Woman match. Her finisher is amazing. I know that people get on her sometimes about some of the botches can look kind of bad, but again, I like her ring style. I love her matches, whether she's a face, whether she's a heel. I prefer her as a heel personally, and her promos put her in front of a mic, gold. I think she's a really good talker, almost in a sense with Bayley. I wish she was more of the mouthpiece, but I would prefer her being in the ring a bit more. So we'll see going forward with her how things go, but I really thought in NXT that's where she really shined, especially as a heel. So just the patience of waiting, like, can we get heel Sasha on the main roster? The mark out when she turned on Natty, perfect. Number 3, this will be a surprise to many, Roderick Strong. He is actually, I like O'Reilly a lot, I really do, but Roderick Strong, dude is just so freaking intense. He reminds me of Chris, like he's like a hybrid of Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. He can be technical, but he can just be downright ruthless and aggressive as hell at the same time. So he can have that Kurt Angle style where everything is smooth, just that wrestler technical mindset, and then he has a Benoit in him when he will just, drop that backbreaker, drop you on your neck, chop the hell out of you. Um, he has the complete package. Him being an undisputed era in the beginning, I wasn't sold on it. The fourth guy I was like really surprised when it happened. Like, I'm gonna roll with this and see how it works. And I can tell you, over time, he has really grown on me. He is awesome. I wish his North American title reign could have been longer. All said and done, though, when he eventually, assuming he does leave the Undisputed Era, he'll move up to bigger things. I would love to see at some point him and Cole have a feud where he gets kicked out and he challenges for the title, assuming Cole still has it then, or even if Cole drops the title and they just feud and he gets kicked out anyway, whatever. Like, I think that would be a fantastic match. But I really, his match style, I feel, is unique. People have told me, like, I mean, he can be like, you can say he's like that, but Pete Dunne's a better version. I actually prefer Roderick Strong better. Like, he just works for me. We already know number 1 is, so it doesn't matter. Number 2. This will be a surprise to some. Finn Balor. First of all, the Demon Finn is a super cool character to lights. The first time I actually saw Finn wrestle was when I saw that, like, in person, so that was super intense and a really cool. I don't remember who he faced there. It's like one of those things, kind of like an Undertaker entrance. Like, when it was over, it's like, okay, now there's a match. Like, oh wait, he still has to wrestle. What? Um, Finn's the man, and it's like it's weird because he's like, see this super ripped dude that's small, and when you see a small guy, you expect him to be more like a cruiserweight, but he has this smoothness in the ring. Promos are not they're not terrible. They're not, I won't even say they're bad, but they're like, I can't think of like a promo that I've just like taken to heart, whether it be the feud with KO or anyone else. I can't really think of anything that he's done on the mic that has really like got me pumped up or anything, but it doesn't matter because his wrestling is so good. Love his style. He has a unique finisher in the coup de grace. I always get nervous sometimes. I think like you could break an ankle, you could sprain an ankle, someone gets hurt, doing that, but it's very unique and it fits him really well. His run in NXT, great. I'm happy to see him back as the Prince. Looking forward to see him eventually feuding with Walter when all of this COVID stuff ends. But Maybe Killer Cross in the meantime. Not gonna complain about that. And of course, number one guy I just wanted to mention real quick. Best entrance in NXT is not Finn Balor. Best entrance is not the Undisputed Era with the boom. Best entrance isn't even Shinsuke. Tyler Breeze. He has the best entrance I've ever seen in NXT. The fact that he sings his entrance too makes it so much better. Because it reminded me a lot of Shawn Michaels with Sexy Boy when it started. Like, that's so cool. The perfect character, so laughable. Um, he did a really good job. I just wish him and Fandango could have did more on the main roster, but it is what it is. But I just want to give props, throw that out there for Tyler Breeze. That's the coolest entrance. Love the theme song. Number one, Johnny Wrestling. It's a big shock, right? No Johnny shirt today either. Um, First of all, if I could wrestle anyone, it'd be him. Point blank in the story. I'll take the loss. Don't care. It just it would make me happy. He is such a talented wrestler. I've mostly seen him as a face, so faces tend to get beat up for most of the match, but he does a real good job. He has that Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles trait where you just always believe he's gonna find a way to win, even when he doesn't. You just always believe. Versus Andrade, he would find a way to win. Versus Tommaso, he would find a way to win the championship. That's just Johnny Wrestling. Like, that's the embodiment of Johnny Wrestling. And his match style, like, I have not seen a bad Johnny Gargano match. Matches against Cole, great. Matches against Tommaso, great. Um, the match, he had a couple matches in the Cruiserweight tournament. Those are really good matches. The tag match, like, everything that he's in, to me, whether it's a big guy, whether it's a small guy, whether it's a face, whether it's a heel, whether it's a technical wrestler, whether it's a luchador style wrestler, he's able to mesh well with them, and the product looks really smooth in the ring. Now we talk about promos. Because I'm undersized, I can relate to that underdog mentality. He is able to get that out of you in his promos. You can tell, like, he's really passionate. He's really passionate about wrestling to begin with. He's very vocal about that outside of, outside the camera. But you just feel that connection with them. Dude's goat. Bottom line, dude's goat. He will be the standard bearer for NXT. I feel like he's like Shawn Michaels, where you have to have that one big match with Shawn, and then once you do, then we know, are you real or are you not? Like, okay, yeah, you're a main event guy, like with Cena. You beat Big Show for the U.S. Championship. You beat Bradshaw to become WWE champ. But now we're putting you really up there, front and center, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania. Can you hold your own? He does. Okay, gatekeeper, you're in. I feel like that's what Johnny is for NXT. Curious to see how this heel run goes now. Because it's heel-ish, it's heel. But I feel like he's kind of playing on the fence a little bit. This should be fun to watch with him and Candice. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. Because, like he says, he is NXT. Like, he literally is NXT. I feel like he has been the embodiment of what NXT stands for. Someone who is trying and giving all that they have to eventually move up to the main roster. Now NXT has become its own entity, its own thing. But before, when you see the guys that are coming up, they put in so much work, so much time and effort. Like, it's guys like Johnny Gargano that have give NXT the reputation that it has today, and a good one. I'm sure some people disagree. Adam Cole probably should be on the list for starters. I'm sure some may even say Bray Wyatt or a certain Shield person should have made the list as well. Let me know who you pick in the comments below. We talk about it in stream. I'm open to hear some guys. It's probably some guys that I may have missed. I felt like I had a pretty comprehensive list, but even I'm not perfect. I know there's some guys out there that I may have missed, but I feel like these 5 I would roll with. They would work for me. So let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys later.